The former SNP leader has lambasted his old colleague for repeating the mistakes of the past. The new SNP leader has come under fire from his party's former boss, who has accused him of making independence impossible. The Scottish National Party has long campaigned for a split from the UK as a goal, but former leader Alex Salmond said the new head of the political group was making that dream less likely. Launching a brutal broadside, Alex Salmond, who is now at the helm of Alba, said his past ally John Swinney was soft-peddling independence and that Sir Keir Starmer has already told him no to any vote to leave. His comments were a reaction to an interview the SNP leader did with ITV News, where he confessed that he would support Devo Max instead of gaining a second independence referendum. This would be the handing over of more powers to the Scottish Parliament from Westminster. The Scottish Daily Express reports the current nationalist strategy to break up the UK is to win the majority of the seats in Scotland at the next general election and then plead with the Prime Minister to give them the power to hold another vote. However, both Rishi Sunak and Sir Keir Starmer have rejected any notion that this could happen. Mr. Swinney was asked whether he would support more powers for Holyrood instead of a referendum, and admitted he would. He said, "I have never, my record says that I have never resisted strengthening of the powers of the Scottish Parliament. I was part of the Smith Commission which brought more power. The very tax powers that you've asked me about, came from the Smith Commission, of which I was a member. So I will always try to build the powers of the Scottish Parliament. I'm a believer in independence. I think independence is the answer for Scotland, but I will always work constructively to strengthen the powers of the Scottish Parliament. The real challenge we face is over the last few years since Brexit the powers of the Scottish Parliament have been eroded by the UK government." But this interview was highlighted by Mr. Salmond as proof that the SNP had given up the push for Skexit. The Alba party leader said, "Now we know why independence is off the SNP ballot paper but on the Alba one. These interviews from John are so wrong on so many levels. All experience shows that the only circumstances when Labour offer more powers for Scotland, is when they are frightened of independence. Since SNP are not campaigning for independence, then clearly Labour have no need to concede anything." As John told Nick Robinson, the SNP is campaigning for a democratic effect to ask Keir Starmer to hold a referendum. As Starmer has already told John, the answer is no, and in a brutal conclusion he claimed that Mr. Swinney is soft-peddling independence and making it impossible in this election. He also accused the First Minister of even making Devo Max unlikely in this parliamentary term and of reprising his 2003 campaign, "Fulfil Our Potential," and risking getting the same result. In 2003, Mr. Swinney led the SNP to a poor result in the Holyrood election, losing 8 seats and seeing the vote share drop by 4.9%. This was the beginning of the end for his reign, as he was forced to resign after another bad showing in the European Parliament elections and was replaced by Mr. Salmond.